This is an update on the four major cases pending against Trump and one that's kind of wandering around at the moment. This is Dr. David D. Shine for Saving America. And we've got some real interesting stuff going on here in the United States. Most Americans are aware that there was a serious string of legal attacks against GOP presidential candidate Donald Trump. As I've previously said in a couple of the Saving Americas, I am not a big fan of Donald Trump, but I also am a huge fan of the American rule of law, which I believe is being violated in massive terms with these cases that are presently pending. Here's some things that are presently active. It's called the federal election interference case brought by clown Jack Smith, who's questionable as to whether he's even authorized to bring such a case on behalf of the Department of Justice. This case is often tied to January 6th or the day of the riots at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. For various reasons, this is tied to the next case, the Georgia election interference case, which is brought in state court by Fani Willis. This has already been a ridiculous, humorous soap opera of all kinds. As she hired her boyfriend, paid him over $1 million. Apparently, they're now exes, and but the judge threw him out, but didn't throw her out. And I think the case should have been completely dismissed. It's just silliness. And both of these cases now, the Jack Smith case in DC and the Fani Willis case in Georgia, are basically under examination by the U.S. Supreme Court in a separate Saving America that I recorded recently regarding the Trump immunity claim. And if the immunity claim sticks, much of those cases will go away. They've tried to bring some other arguments that might not go away with the immunity case. I don't see that as being very successful. Both of these cases have been delayed because of the Supreme Court action. Speaking of another case that's been delayed, down in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida, we have what's called the classified documents case. Again, clown show Jack Smith is down there arguing in front of a Trump-appointed federal judge where he is claiming that because Trump had confidential documents in his Secret Service protected home at Mar-a-Lago, that he was violating some National Archives rules. And this is just so silly on its face that it's just all sad. Trump is claiming presidential immunity, which frankly I agree with. What's interesting, and I'm quoted as having been said before, is that if they give Trump a slap on the hand, which is the most they could do, I favor the death penalty for Joe Biden for what he did when he was not president, stealing classified documents from the U.S. government and doing ludicrous things with them, including reading a classified document to a person writing a book about him for which he was paid millions of dollars. Now, if that is not worthy of the death penalty in a treasonous act like that by someone in the federal government, I don't know what is. And I'm hoping that he will be prosecuted for that once he's no longer in the White House. So we'll see how that goes. And again, Trump is claiming presidential immunity there. On the front burner is a case that started a couple of weeks ago and is still running. And this is referred to as the hush money case. And this is another ludicrous New York case brought by Alvin Bragg, who is supposed to be representing the people of New York City, but apparently he's missed that part because crime has run away there, and he's fooling with a case which has no reasonable situation, no victims, no big crime here. And it's an 8-year-old case saying that there were a couple of women who Trump, through his attorney, Michael Cohen, a convicted felon and former attorney, is that somehow the accounting for this, not the case itself, but the accounting for this somehow was violation of business records rules. That's right, folks. Is if you even care about this, I don't know hardly anybody who does unless they're ardent anti-Trump fans. And to make this an even bigger clown show, you've got a judge called Juan Merchan who has put a gag order on Trump and now has fined him for violating this bogus gag order, which is deliberately done to prevent him from campaigning. He who laughs last laughs best. Trump has been taking advantage of the situation to campaign on Wednesdays and weekends when he's not in trial. And he runs around New York City making friends and big turnouts. He was in the fire department the other day at a New York location and brought him pizza, big applause. He's attracting a lot of attention and it's very positive. And I think the GOP here are the big winners in the Democrats' foolish attempt to prevent Trump from campaigning. And I just get a laugh out of that, whether I'm a big Trump fan or not. So then you've got the case that's already up on appeal. This is the overvalued asset case brought by the New York State Attorney General Letitia James against Trump and his organization. This is another case with a clown judge, Arthur Engoron, who ruled against Trump before the case even started, and just arbitrarily came up with a $500,000 award, despite the fact that there are no victims. No mortgage company or bank got shorted because of whatever the appraisals were of the real estate. And it's interesting because just in the last few days, a building owned by a major company was sold. It was valued at $1 billion and it just sold for $183 million. So is Letitia going to run over there and file a complaint against that business for selling a overvalued asset at less than its valued asset? Hey, could be interesting, might be an opportunity for them to show a little equal justice in the world. Of course, it was probably somebody who's on the Democratic payroll, so you never know about that. My personal opinion is I think it will take a full generation of New York cleaning up its act before anybody trusts New York. I expect anybody with any sense who has a business in New York to sell it and move out. I expect that other businesses will not move to New York or not rely on New York because of the foolishness. And of course, many of you know that many wealthy New Yorkers have already moved out of the state due to the shenanigans in the state, the high taxes, and the liberal whack jobs domination of the state. We are living in interesting times for sure, but this is not a good look for American justice. The rule of law is critical to a civil society. These cases violate basic principles, and this is starting to look more like Putin's Russia than anything that we should be seeing in the United States. This is Dr. David D. Shine. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of Saving America. We always welcome your feedback. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on your favorite platform.